age, they say it's not for kids. And when they are talking about kids, they're not talking about age. Well, age plays a role too, but maturity. You have to be at a place where you know you can marry. You can marry. Today we are looking at the understanding the complexities of your partner. Yes, we are not talking about their background or how they were raised, but they have peculiar traits, characteristics, challenges that you need to understand so you can live together. Otherwise, oh boy, do you know there's something called OCD? Do you know that people who have AHD? Well, today, we're going to help you to understand why your husband behaves in a certain way, why your wife does certain things. It's going to be very revealing, and you don't want to miss it. If you can get these things, I'm sure life will be a little bit better. Well, let me say thank you to GTP for my fabric. My dress is by Brie Redra. Thank you so much to her. Makeup products by Note Cosmetics, distributed right here in Ghana by Silver Queen Cosmetics, and beautifully applied by J. Claude Beauty. J. Claude Beauty. You can look out for him on Instagram. We take a break. When we come back, I have a pastor, a family counselor, and a life coach. It's going to be exciting. We'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint. Yes, today we have a program for you, and understanding the complexities of your partner. The little things that turn out to be big things. And I have the right team here to explore and make us understand. I'm sure after this one, there will have to be some sorries said to each other, and hope to achieve what we are praying for. That's good homes, happy marriages, and long-lasting marriages. And let me say thank you to our supporters. That's Go Got to Yogurt by Penta Foods, Purified Mineral Water, and Puma Drinks by Casapreco Company Limited. Juice Time 100% fruit juices, House of Food, Auntie Vera and the team. Thank you. Mrs. Ofori Poco and the family, we are ever so grateful to you. Yep Cleaning Services and everything cleaning. Home, office, before, after, they will do it for you. We also say thank you to Stunning Floral and Deco, who gave us these artificial and natural plants for our recordings. In the studio, seated right opposite me is Osofo Maami, who is also an Asafo Maami. There is Ariafia Sante. She is a family life counselor, and she now has a consultancy. What's the name of the consultancy?
Beulah Life.
Beulah Life. What do you do with you?
So we do everything counseling from after what PG does, then I come in. So from premarital to in married to career guidance to, apart from legal counseling, which we don't have legal people on our team. Interestingly, I seem to have quite a number of lawyers and around me. So though I do not do legal counseling, we can always have yes. Okay. So that's basically
awesome. Welcome back to The Standpoint.
Thank you very much.
It's been a while.
Yes,
It's been a while. And next to her, I have my younger brother who so annoying sometimes on social media. He's PG Sebastian, is a relationship coach and also does a lot apart from that. His other life, he sells insurance. So you can insure your marriage, right?
Well, we haven't gotten there.
We haven't gotten there yet. Welcome back to The Standpoint.
Thank you.
When I called you, PG and Mama Tess, I told you about, this is a topic borrowed from my husband. Let me just give credit. He discussed a topic on his show, that's my opinion, on Joy FM, and because of what was happening around that time, lots of people didn't really get it. They wanted to talk about the motorway and that was be blocked and the bad roads, everything. But he talked about the little things that can cause a major problem. Understanding the complexities of it. For example, I am seriously OCD.
Oh, I see.
I have serious OCD, and he's also dyslexic. We still clash. Apart from his many sins, dyslexic has plays another word I have to go with, but we're still struggling to get it. But some of these things we take for granted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was saying that this is some of the things that leads to the toothpaste or toothpaste pressed in the middle, and it can be a big problem.
Yeah.
PG.
Well, so let me say that when it comes to a particular person, or when we pick any individual, there are two sides of the person. There is their genetic makeup, and then there is their socialization or upbringing and what influences them. So one person is not just one or the other. Now, for you to understand the complexities of your partner, you need to understand where they're coming from.
Okay.
And you need to understand how they have been raised. So if you pick a typical example, somebody who comes from a place where they are genetically predisposed to be aggressive.
Okay.
You pick the traits in the family. So is that the grandfather probably killed somebody, or they are known to be a very violent family. The father picked it, and they have also picked it. So if you pick that person naturally has a tendency to be aggressive. And then you're also picking somebody who is prone to depression. It's not everybody who would see suicide as an end to a problem they are going through. Some other people find ways around it. But for some people, the slightest thing, they want to kill themselves. They want to self-harm, and then all of that. They are very melancholic, very pessimistic in life. They always see life through the lens of gloom. So for those people, they are prone to certain self-destroying behavior. So you have that. Now there is how they were raised. So assuming somebody who has a genetic predisposition to be a very violent person, they probably grew up in a neighborhood that encouraged such violence. Then they become extremely violent without any form of restraint. But such a person, assuming they join, say, the military, they go through martial arts. And then, these two areas we know help people modify their behavior. It kind of straightens you up and all that. Then you see that aggression or that aggressive side of them is sort of modified and curtailed. But you marry such a person, and maybe specific home environments trigger them, bring them to the place where they can't handle all their training, then the aggression comes out of them. Or you marry somebody who comes from that same background of being melancholic, prone to depression, everything. And then you, the partner, you don't understand why they are very sensitive. Every little thing they are talking about it. Every little thing they are down, they are broken. And if you don't handle it well, and then you keep also piling up your trauma on them, screaming at them, accusing them, always going after them, they can't afford to make mistakes. Every little thing the only thing you are doing is that you are further pushing them to bring what is already in them out. But if they find a home where they are loved, where they are encouraged, where they are constantly being driven to see positive aspects of life and everything, they sort of modify that depressive aspect of them, that melancholic aspect of them. They become a lot more better. So when they marry you, and then that environment is available in the house, you get to see that they are further becoming better people. Their default go-to is not suicide, self-harm, or anything. So you get to find out that people are who they are, not necessarily because they just got up and they want to be like that. Some people are raised by families that are constantly on the go. So you pick a typical, say, police. Somebody was raised up in a police home, constant transfers.
Police daughter.
You got to find out the person.
I was conceived at a flower. Born at Chebi, raised in Tema.
Thank you. So you keep going around. So you got to find those people that they are very open-minded. Find people who are raised by diplomats. They travel, they see the world. They're very open-minded. You find people who were raised by parents who are they are constantly on. So your father is probably into some sales. Your mother, because of her job, she wasn't around and all that. They tend to be very independent. They don't know how to be told to do, being instructed, because 90% or 80% of all their childhood, they've been on their own. So it is also shaping them. You find people who come from a very authoritarian home. You don't talk unless you are told, unless you are talked to. Your opinion doesn't count. When your father tells you to sleep, you sleep. Obey before complain. Me and you are not having a conversation. No, we are not co-equal. I'm your parents. I order you. Such people grow up, and then you don't understand why they lack initiative. Because for 25 years of their life, for 30 years of their life, they've always been told what to do. So if nobody tells them what to do, they don't know what to do. It's like, you know, sometimes people go through some serious consequences for taking initiative. You know, your father will come home. Who touched us? Who did this? Oh, Dad, it was raining and it wasn't there. Did I tell you to do? Did you know why I hung it there? And it turns into a fight. And you realize that it doesn't make sense. Wait, I only took a good initiative. But your father is not upset because you took initiative. Your father is upset because you didn't consult him. And there are homes like that. There are some people, whether you are right or wrong, it doesn't matter. The mere fact that you bypass them, that's what they don't want. So over time, these people get confused. I beg you. The easiest thing for me is not to do anything. Let me sit down and avoid all problems. So you get to find out that it tells in their marriage. And then there are those who also get to a point, they are in their 30s, they're like, listen, I won't let anybody control me again. For 30 years of my life, I've always been told what to do. So then you don't understand why your wife doesn't want to listen to you, or why your husband doesn't want to. So you call your husband at 10 o'clock, he's not home, when he's supposed to be home at like 7 or 6:30. Babe, why are you? Hey, don't come and instruct, don't come and be following me. I've gone through that nonsense from my mother, I've gone through that nonsense from my father, my family, don't bring it to me. And you don't understand. Maybe they won't give you all the details, but they just don't want people trying to tell them what to do, because it's been a terror for them. Then you get to a home where you also find that people are very good with negotiations. Parents will talk to you, they will take your feedback and all that. And you find that in their homes, they interact positively with their kids and all of that. So everybody is bits and pieces of their genetic disposition and then their upbringing as well.
Wow, that's a lot. Mama, but this one, how do you process it? How can you even know all this before you go into marriage?
Thank you very much, Ao, and thank you, PG. It's beautiful you started. I have been, just when you sent me, I was thinking, then I am asking myself, telling myself, God is a wonderful architect, right?
Yeah.
The fact that he puts these two different people together who are from different levels of exposure, different levels of growth, different levels, kinds of parents, different levels, kinds of environment, and all other things being equal, different. And he puts these two people together. Interestingly, you would know that most often than not, opposites attract, and then opposites get to marry. And so just like you talked about you and Nana, and you notice that everything mostly is so different, and you're supposed to be with this person. And then the scripture, Daniel 11, comes to mind. Those who do know their God, they shall be strong and do exploits. Then again, it comes to mind. Then it means that it's not everyone who can do exploits. Your ability to do exploits, either at work, at marriage, everywhere, depends on what you know. It therefore comes to this point that knowledge is very important. So key, said that, and it takes time to know. I mean, you can't, I have been with PG for how long? For like 4 years? 5? Oh, no, more. 5 years. We have been in and out like that. We are buddies. Yeah. We have one other buddy, Olivia. When three of us meet, we can do just anything. And having known him for 5 years, I still cannot say I know him too well. And so knowledge is the most important thing to have to be able to live with people, either of the same whatever or who are different from you. And that knowledge comes with time. It is a very gradual thing. Let me use my example. I am used to use examples. I happen to live in a home where everybody, it's a laissez-faire home. Do what you want. Then again, there is a group of people who are a bit permissive. I don't want you to do this, but okay, if it won't hurt anybody, go ahead. Then I come into, at a point, I come to live with an uncle who was very meticulous. I mean, everything must be in its space. And that uncle was called, what is this? He's too much. He's too difficult. He's too complex.
Yeah.
That is how everyone around him was like, what is this? What is this? I learned a bit, but I still had my laissez-faire life. Then I get into marriage. I didn't know that that was a dress rehearsal for my marriage. I married a man who was properly trained. Everything like PG must be in its space. I get into his little home first day, and I'm like, this is a very little cubicle, but everything is in its space. I don't do things like that. When I take my dress, it must be somewhere. My shoe must be somewhere. Everything must be somewhere. When I'm looking for it, I must go around and pick them up. It took me 7 years to learn. And the 7 years of learning, it was the most difficult part of my life. And then so I am like, I won't take anything that belongs to you. And he's telling you, I'm not saying don't take anything that belongs to me. I am saying that when you pick this thing from here, come and put it here. This place must be cleaned. This thing must be done. When I came in, I was looking around. Everything is in its place. And I'm saying that that is exactly my husband. Everything must be in its place. Then I noticed that, yes, in this life, everybody is two, nature and nurture. So you are born and then you are trained, your kinds of training, and they all go through. To be able to really live with these people, you need a lot of knowledge about them. And then you will progress where they have been. So yes, you meet somebody in Accra and you get married to him. He was in a suit, beautiful. She was in a powerful, beautiful dress. And you think that, wow, this is a lady. Till you get to closest and you know that, oh, he's coming from somewhere. And it is only in Accra because he's working in the corporate environment. He needs to wear a suit. When he puts off the suit, something else is beneath it. And that's what is beneath it is him or her. And that needs to be nurtured gradually again because he's 25, he's 40, he's 45 before she or he gets married. And so that 45 years, what do you think she was doing? She was creating her character and life over time. Why do you come in 1 year and you want to clean it all up like that? Who are you? What are you talking about? And so it goes through another process, and that process perhaps we will get there as we journey on. I call it TAAA. That is a process I have used over time. It has been helpful.
I think that TAA.
Right. So the T is learning to be very tolerant with yourself and with him, or with yourself and with her. You are learning a new thing. You are in a new learning curve, and you need to be open-minded to learn. If you are the kind who is so close and this is my way, it is my way, this is how it should be done. At this point, we should be looking at learning again. I keep telling young couples, if you want to get married, it is not about finding the nicest person. Are you a nice person yourself? Can somebody live with you and feel? Can anybody live with you and feel that, wow, I am learning? So in marriage, whilst you were going, tell yourself, I am going to learn new things. You are not the reciprocity of all wisdom. And so you are going to learn new things, and you should be teachable. Be tolerant, be teachable. When the other person wants to come in with something, allow him or allow her space into your life so you will be teachable. Don't say that media it's a language I don't want to hear, because everybody can change.
But let me take a break. When we come and find out, how do you know when this particular trait or this particular thing or character or habit is something that is a challenge, and the one that is out of laziness or deliberate, or you just refusal to budge because I want to be myself. I just want to be a me. Well, you're watching The Standpoint. Let me say thank you to GTP for my cloth. My dress is by Brie Radio. Our makeup products by Note Cosmetics, distributed right here in Ghana by Silver Queen Cosmetics. Thank you so much to them, ever so faithful to me. And makeup by J. Claude Beauty. You can follow him on Instagram. We take a break. When we come back, we will continue this one because I have questions, so I'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint. I have with me in the studio Reverend Mrs. Theresa Riafi Asante. Asante Riafi or Riafi Asante? Riafi Asante, who is a family life counselor, and PG Sebastian, who is a life coach. Welcome back to, we're talking about understanding the complexities of your partner. I interestingly still on a mama test, for my thesis, for my master's, my topic was on the multiple identities, of the people of African descent,
Right.
living in, UK, and especially we focus on working in the media. So there's so many things, as PG, explained, come together to form you. But we will go into marriage looking for enjoyment, looking for peace, looking for growth. Then you go in and you have to deal with all these things. How do you know this is how the person is and I can't do anything, or the person can't do anything about it? And the person can do something about it, but he's refusing to do it.
Yes, there are people like that, and that is why I was saying that it is not true to say that this is how I am, I can't change. Everything in this life is subject to change. Change is the only constant, but again, you are the only one who can change you. We can all help in one particular way, like, this thing. If there is something about you people have been talking about for a very long time, especially those who are closest, then I am a believer in temperaments. I believe in traits and personality differences and all that. But I also believe that in all of these, there is an area where we can modify all of these temperaments. Every one of them can be modified. Every one of them. That is also a topic for another time. And there are people who are so lazy. They don't want to lift a finger to do anything. They lived with themselves for a very long time. Nobody has said anything to them, and so they think it is the right way. But again, the person should be ready to meet you halfway. If he's saying that this is how I am, I can't change, like I'm saying. So the person, if you have been talking about it for a very long time, then the person should notice that it's a matter of consent to whoever is talking about it. Then let's push and meet each other halfway and move on from there, so that if even it is how you have been socialized, you can change. If it is how you were even born, you can still change. Change can always be done at every part of our work.
Now, PJ, let's move it to the intimacy aspect of it, And there are some people who are natural huggers, people who are very sex-driven. Some love kissing, some love, but you realize that to marry, especially Christians who say that no fornication before you marry, and then you go in there and they're this is about the thing I see in the movie. This is not what is happening. Or from maybe even if you have from experience, this is how I like to be touched.
Right.
This is how but sometimes there isn't that deliberate effort to understand that, okay, this is why. I remember years ago, and I want us to revisit it. We did a program on intimacy in marriage.
Right.
And we talked about people's baggage, as you talked
Right.
the sexual experiences they've had. Some have been
come
raped
from.
before,
Exactly.
some have been abused and all that. So it all comes, but
All
if
comes
you do
together,
not know, and these are things that people don't also like to talk about in marriage. I don't want to bring my past sexual life experience
Exactly.
into it. And then it becomes a big problem.
Yeah. Well, so when we talk about a person's intimate side or their more sensual side, again, it's a little bit of their nature or genetics that plays a role. So that is depending on the person's temperament. So if you're dealing with a person who is hardly, very choleric, they are buga, they are not that, rounded and all that. They are just like goal driven, goal getters. We set goals, we achieve it, we get things done, we move on. So for them, yes, sex may be good and all that, but probably you may lack the nitty-gritties, the fineness of it, the sweetness of it. If you're dealing with somebody who is melancholic, on the other hand, they probably may not be all that well exposed, but their nature is that they are very sensitive. So they are sensitive to your needs. So if they want, say they are the men, they want a certain sexual fantasy fulfilled, and then you begin to cringe. You feel that, no, this is beneath my dignity. I'm a woman. I can't let you do this to me. I can't do this. They will back off. They don't force you. They are the people that if they come close to you and you reject them, they don't come they don't come again. They're very sensitive in bed. Then you're dealing with, say, a typical, no, not even a flirt, but the sanguines. They are flirting naturally. Naturally, they are huggers, they are kissers. They like to flirt, they like to explore. They are like social butterflies. They, according to some of their flaws, they are prone to cheating. And so you get to find out that they are likely to have a lot more sexual experiences, or at least have had conversations around sex in a very extensive way. So if you're looking for women especially, or men who are well explored, who have actually explored themselves, and know a lot about them, you're likely to find them in that space. Then there is also the nature, the environment side, the upbringing side, where people have been raised to see sex as a taboo. And so I remember there was
it's a sin.
Yes, there was a client of mine who complained about her inability to open up herself. I was trying to find out. I asked, have you been raped before? No. This before? No. That before? No. It was like literally I was struggling. So I asked, has somebody told you things about sex that has made you, that's more like disgusted you? Then she said, yes, when I was a teenager. Just when I entered secondary school, that's when my mom told me that, listen, and from that time, she started building that wall. So she's married, but it's a word that has created a stronghold in her mind. So now she can't let go of herself. There are a lot of married women who come from the bathroom with their towels around their waist. They come into the bedroom, they don't want their husband to see them unchanging. There are people who still want to have sex with the lights off, want to put blankets on themselves. Because again, there is a conversation, there is a taboo around opening yourself up, being sexually upfront, or being sexually bold. It creates this whole harlot personality, harlot impression. So there are people on radio and TV talking about the fact that as a woman you can't even sleep with your panties off. You have to put it on for a man to come and remove it. And that, so we have all sort of narrative. Then again, there is also.
But that process is nice, though.
Well, that process is nice, though. It
doesn't have to be every time.
But it depends on the kind of panties you're wearing.
I know, right?
Some people, the panties are even put off.
I mean, come on,
Now,
a few years ago,
umami draws now shine. So you find that. Then you also find the fact that over the course of their years, they've also explored during, depending on what was available to them growing up. So they've explored, they've seen things, they've been to places. Again, background is part of it. Economic circumstances is part of it, because depending on your family's financial background, you are likely to meet certain class of people in society who have certain kind of experience. So, for instance, you come from an average or an upper class. You live, say, somewhere around some parts of Accra, Cantonment, Trasacco, those areas. You're likely to go to a certain kind of school that has people from other cultures who are coming in. They come with different experiences. So it opens your mind. So the things, the kind of nuances that you have in your mind when it comes to sex and intimacy in a relationship is totally different from other people. So then that is why people are thinking about the fact that, listen, sex isn't just about your body looking like this, but sex is about cleanliness. Sex is about respect. Sex is about romance and intimacy. It's not just about the body, but it's also even about the ambience. If your room is set up in a certain way, it's a put off. Can we probably travel? Sex shouldn't always be in your bedroom, on your marital bed. Can we try it in the hall? Can we try it here? Can we try it there? So all of these will come in to shape your mind. And the more liberated the person is, the more it tells in their marriage. There are homes where conversation around sex, it may not just, I won't call it a vulgar home, but conversation around sex is tolerated. So it's not frowned upon. If a boy, I remember when somebody called me, a friend called me and was like, hey, have you heard? I said, what? He said that there is this girl in this class in your son's school who has a crush on your son, and apparently told my daughter. So my daughter came home and said that this person has a crush on your son, and my son had just joined the school. And so I called my son. I was like, hey, do you know this person? He said, yeah. And I said,
what's up?
Which class is she in? She said she's in class 1. Grade 1. I'm like, okay, so how's your friend? It's like, oh, she's my friend. She actually lives in this neighborhood. It's like, you even know where she lives? She said, yeah. He mentioned the house, and I was like, Jesus Christ. you know, I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. So we just talked, we just forgot about it. One day I was washing the car. So I was standing in front of the house washing the car. And then they all came from the house. And then when he was coming, he was wearing boxers. He didn't have a top on. And then this lady and her big sister and a couple of small kids in the area, they were passing by. My son was screaming. He was like, Daddy, and you see, look at me. She's coming. I don't have a shirt. I told you. Hurry up, go inside. Go on with your shirt and come. I mean, I know where all this thing is going, but I didn't want to demonize it. I didn't want to shut him up. He is growing. He will know. He will learn about it. So let's talk about it. So that, yes, he's comfortable. Then in his teenage, he can always come back to me and tell me that this is a problem I'm having and all that. So gradually, I'm creating an environment for him to be open-minded about intimacy, things between a man and a woman, and then all of that. And if the actual sex conversation comes, we'll sit down, we'll talk about it, and then we'll go. It may not be so for so many homes, and it shows in their marriage. So even when there is a problem, the man is not good in bed. Stamina, whatever, the woman is just like a log in bed. When she's there, she's distracted. When she's there, she can't bring herself in the moment, you know, for her to enjoy everything. How do you talk about it? How do you bring this conversation up without offending the man? I mean, you tell a Ghanaian man that you're not good in bed, it's a big insult. He would die.
You know, you're comparing me with somebody, your past. How can you?
I know. And like, you said something that I thought was very profound. We can't even discuss our past relationships. I mean, the thing is, when you met the person, you knew the person was having sex before the two of you decided to go ahead and marry. So why don't you talk about it? The only thing is maybe when it is talked about in a way that is almost like in your face, like it's almost like but you should be able to talk about your past experience. Maybe not in its graphic nature, but ability to talk about, well, me, I like it this way. I think that this way makes me climax better. There are a lot of men who do not even know how their women climax. There's the orgasm through a vagina, there's vaginal orgasm, there's clitoral orgasm, and all that. A lot of men don't know. So all he wants to do is to take the Vigura, the Mr. Kill, the whatever, and sit on a woman and pound her for 30 minutes. But that's not where she's getting the orgasm. It's just a clitoral orgasm that will come in 5 minutes. That will come in 2 minutes if you just know the right place. But you don't want to have this conversation because Obani could be an anope. Where did you learn this from? Who are you talking to? Don't do that. There are a lot of men who think that it's all about a woman's breast. And the woman is telling you, my feelings are not there. Can you play with my hair? Can you play with my toes? Can you do something that is not in your stereotype? So when it comes to all of these things, I think that Mama Tess said something that we need to go back to. It's knowledge. Knowing about your partner. Know where they've been through. Know what they've done. Know their experiences. It will influence you in understanding why they do some things. You are married to a guy whose mother is a single mom. And you don't understand why the guy is not able to exhibit manly characteristics. Single mom, after 30 years, the guy was still in the house. His mom goes into his room. It's stinking. It's hell. The mom will call him, insult him, but the mom will still go and clean. His bathroom, nobody can bath there. It's dirty, nasty. The man will call him, I pity the woman who marry you, and but the woman will still go and clean. So such a man, you marry such a man, and then
you complain, and
because you still do it. Because he's used to women complaining and getting it done anyhow. So, coming back to your question, there are a lot of things that we need to learn, but we should first and foremost be willing to learn. We should have teachable spirit, like she said. We should take away our stereotypes because you see, the world is changing. Back in the day, 50 years back, you could do anything you want and your wife would still stay. Now things are changing. If you don't change quickly to suit the complexity of time you live in, your partner will leave you. And it's just a matter of time.
Let me take another break. When you come, I'll give all the time to Mama Tess because marriage is not like that. Oh. It's not as simple as that. Lots of things comes to play before, during, and after. If there's an after.
Like a forest. When you are at the back, it looks like everything is together. It is just when you get there, then you notice that baby has its... Absolutely.
You're watching the Stand For Again. Let me say thank you to Juice Time from the farm to the factory to the bottle to distribution. They do everything. So you can trust that it's 100% fruit juices. Thank you so much to Puma Drinks, Away Purified Mineral Water by Casa Preco Company Limited, House of Food, Antiveria. We are ever, ever grateful. And we thank all those who have supported us for the 14 years of the Standpoint. 14 good years. And this year, our Women Call to Worship is going to be in September. So get ready, get ready. We are going to worship like never before. And you know our theme for this year, broken but beautiful. So come with your brokenness and you will leave with some beautification, you know. So don't miss it. We'll give you the details very soon. Let me also say thank you to Go-Got Yogurt by Penta Foods, Stunning Flora and Decor for our plants, both natural and artificial. Yep, cleaning services for always being there for us to clean before, after, during the Standpoint. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Standpoint. Hey, Mama, you know, these days you are on social media, very active. You know, there's some even young ladies who are afraid of marriage.
Oh, yes.
There are a lot of people who are afraid. They're like, hey, what I hear about marriage these days, you know. And, you know, sometimes when people like us talk about abuse and all that, sometimes the message we get in our inbox, you realize that, okay, this person is confused about what abuse is and what can be worked on and what can be worked on. Because, you know, like the things that we are talking about now that we can easily know, I don't know why he expects that I put the food here. I don't know why he expects that, you know, I should, you know, she expects I should change the bed sheet, you know, like me, kind of thing. And you think that you're abusing, you are not, you are trying to force me to do something. But these are things that can be worked on.
Oh, yes. Yes, it's important for everybody to understand that this whole thing called marriage is God ordained. It's beautiful. It's an institution also. So no matter what you hear, it is good. Perhaps somebody's marriage did not work out. It's not an indication that other people's marriages will not work out. That is why it is very difficult to some of the topics, they are tailor-made, they are custom-made to people. Every marriage is not the same. If I know two marriages are the same, so sometimes what is working for PG may not work for me. But again, there are lots of general things that works for all of us, and so that is what we are picking out. I've spoken to a lot of them, and their marriage is not part of my thing. But hey, you can do it, and you can so do it well. It is just putting your mind to it. That is why at the courtship period, I always talk about let's have relevant conversations. Let's have the relevant questions. So I am talking to this young lady who, I don't know if it's a good thing to say on TV, but who is saying that I had one child who has Down syndrome. The second one is autistic, and my husband has run. And I'm asking, so I am telling the church people, when you get together as young couples and you are discussing, what are the things you discuss? Did you ask him, if for some reason we don't happen to have a child, how are we doing this? Did you ask her, for whatever reason, if I lose my job along the line, 5 years, 6 years, I don't have a job, are you willing to stay? I think these are some of the conversations we should be having. Not all day, I love you, I love you. After I love you, it is not food we chop, so don't worry about it. We can always grow love. We can always grow love. But these are relevant questions. On Joy FM, there was a lady who we called, and she said, before we got married, I told him, I can't live without money. He was
I listened to that.
He was a big businessman, and now, the money is not there.
Yeah.
After 9 years, I am not staying. See, this my collar. It can never be anything than this. And so these are very important. There is a point we push the whole love thing on the side and face me, I face you. If at 55 I cannot perform sexually well, would you stay? I am talking to a young man who had an accident, and at 37, he has been married for just 3 years. He cannot even sit. He doesn't have an erection at all. Would you stay? These are truths. They happen. Things happen in marriages. And so, if you are only looking at the bliss of marriage, then you have a difficulty.
Mommy, hold on there. Should sex in marriage be different from when you are courting? Let's take the church out. So normal couples, maybe they don't know Christ and
Yes,
they don't
indeed.
go to church, which, happens most of the time. So they have sex when they are courting. But then somehow when they marry, some people feel sex in marriage should be different.
No.
It has to be decent.
In fact,
As
sex.
I'm a wife or I'm a married woman.
Look at this.
I'm a
Sex,
married,
So, and I wonder, sex in marriage should be, for me, should be the best time. The Bible is saying that stolen water is sweet in your mouth, it is bitter in your tummy. So I'm talking about all the young men who are not married, who are having sex on the side. They are stealing water. In fact, the lady, you don't know whether you get married to her at the end or not. But this one, you are married. Marriage is an exclusive sexual relationship. It is at this place that you are given all the right by society, by God, by the country, by the law to have sex. I am telling people, when you, sisters, especially sisters, you see, whatever your mothers told you, they were telling you because you were not married. They were not. But when you get married, there's a need for you with your counselor to be reconscientized. The church must start doing this. Let the sisters and the brothers know at this space, can do everywhere. Stop the chicken kind of sex. Oh, akoko peso ochiro bana metro. No, I am looking at I am looking at both of us making love. Yeah. And if you don't know where your partner's buttons are, talk about it. Somebody told me it's in her nose. The husband doesn't know. Have you told him, hey, okay, he's going to say, hey. And because of that, me, I won't say. And so, please, this whole sex matter, on the scale of 10, we are looking at sexual relationships, financial relationships, children issues, which are the three topmost that breaks relationships. There is a point where you cannot do good sex. When you have the opportunity now, explore all the areas, do everything some, make your own thing. In fact, do your own styles. Just laugh at each other, and then do another one. It's not like, what nonsense is this? What kind of sex is that? Oh, bruh, let's do it again. But again, I am saying, this whole marriage thing, there is a point of adjustment. There's a point where you need to do a lot of adjustments. But you see, the children around you, when I go forth and back, I come to the children. Your good marriage is an insurance for them. Don't go to PG again. When your children sees you and your husband and your wife in this beautiful, good marriage, it is their insurance. They are saying that, wow, daddy and mommy are together. We are safe. And so sometimes, if even you are not doing it for you, do it for them. Do it for them, I am telling you. This marriage, we will keep having little things here and there, because certainly we are socialized differently. But again, I'm coming to this point where I finish. For me, every marriage that would do well would have to work with the principles of teamwork. It is not true that because PG is the team leader, he is the most wisest. I have met women who are so intelligent, very wise, including myself.
Thank you very much. And me too.
You. So then, that is about it. Right. And so the fact that you are the team leader doesn't make you the wisest. You are not the reciprocity of wisdom. But when we give each other member of the team some level of wisdom, some level of understanding, you can even make mistakes and we will run around it. In our world, we don't want people to make mistakes. We should make mistakes, and then we work through our mistakes. Then the lessons we learn become our personal things. So this is true. Yes. Let's work on these marriages. Let it do well. In recent times, I hear too many things and I am disturbed. I just pray that both of us as a couple would have one focus as team members. This is our focus. No matter the little things that works against us, we are here working towards this. And at the end of the day, you bring your strength a bit. I bring my strength a bit. You bring a bit of your weakness. We cover each other and we move on so that our world will become a better place.
Amen. And amen to that. PG, your final words, conclusion. Our time is up.
My last words, I think that, I pick it from where you are. I think that we should all first learn to understand who our partners are, where they are coming from, temperament. For me, when people come for my premarital counseling, the questionnaires are designed to bring the information out of you. Then I will interpret it for the two of you to understand this is what this means, this is what this means. It makes it very easy for the two of you to live together. So understand who your partner is, their temperament, their upbringing. And once you do that, that's the first level. The second level is you begin to select which ones can I adjust or adapt to, and which ones do we need modification. Then you attempt to modify it yourself. But you should also first also know yourself. Because if you know your partner, no matter how well you know your partner, if you don't even know yourself, what do you do with that information? The idea is to know them and know yourself and then see which one can work for you. The ones that you think that it is beyond the two of you to resolve, seek professional help. And when I say professional help, I don't say go seek a counselor. I say seek professional help. So a professional counselor, somebody who knows what they are doing. Let them sit the two of you down and say that this is who you are genetically. This is who you are in terms of socialization or upbringing. And if you do this, you are likely to live better. You are likely to have less conflicts. And even if there is conflict, because the two of you resolve conflicts differently, because your conflict approach is different, your communication styles are different, when there is conflict, you would want to solve it this way, you would also want to solve it this way, but how about you move to the middle? How about you also move to the middle? So both of us are in the space of compromise. I mean, literally, you may know everything about your partner and know everything about yourself. If there is there's no willingness to compromise, we'll all have an entrenched position and we'll be having trench war. But if we come to the middle, you let go a little bit of who you are and you learn a little bit of a new thing. You also let go of a little bit of your comfort zone and then learn a new thing. Then the two of you begin to forge a new path that works for the two of you.
And I say amen to that. Mommy, I mean, when you started, you touched on the church a bit and you digressed a bit, and you know, the role of the church in building and helping us to understand our partners. Just a few days ago, I posted something on my Facebook where the pastor is talking about Christianity sometimes makes us lazy.
Very.
Everything will be, we'll pray about it,
Somebody will bring
speak into it. Yes, pray into it. Instead of working on your marriage, go and submit, go and pray, go and be a leader, go and do this and pray. God will, that's all.
There was a time I would get out of Joy FM and people will attack me. Not ordinary people on the street, pastors. They would call me and say, what kind of nonsense is that? Why has your husband allowed you to be spewing nonsense on radio? And they are pastors. I've said it again and again. In fact, the last I was telling Ariel, she was saying, oh, you too. I said, there was this man who would always meet me at the place. And she said he's an apostle. I don't know of which church. And would tell me, look, I wonder the kind of man who is married to you. But you see, this is it. Since I started talking about God is not a magician. He's a supernatural being. He doesn't do magic. And so for a very long time, I've been talking about you. With God, all things are possible, not God alone. So sometimes, if I want to say more, I will go into many things. There are things I don't believe. It is not that it's not scriptural. It is scriptural. The interpretation is wrong. Right. Everything I receive, everything I receive. What have you done to receive? What? I was asking this man who said, my wife is like that. I said, she's supposed to be your support. Where are you going? What help do you need? And he's saying that, so is this what you teach people in your counseling? But you see, the Christian community, I won't say everybody, gradually with time, but we have a lot of lazy people who are hiding behind spirituality and doing everything is spiritual. Everything, let's pray. Everything, let's pray. What kind of prayer without works?
And everything is the devil attacking.
Devil there.
It's the devil doing it.
It's
the devil doing it. My pastor and Kofori say, "Oh, that will be I'm not baby now." Also, I say, Satan, why are you crying? I say, this thing they are saying I did, this one did.
I don't know anything.
I'm not the one who did it. What is this? When someone was saying, "Kasa man." Oh, my uncle.
Dear, thank you so much. I believe that this is really awakening a lot of us. I personally have learned a lot. You know, this program I would say is especially for me because I've learned a lot. Getting to October 15 will be 7 years in marriage, but gradually, and it took him doing a program for me to really get it. That okay, is this thing, you know, I need to really get to really understand him, you know, and he needs to understand me. But I felt that he knows and understands where I'm coming from. And he keeps saying that, hey, OCD, but I haven't made effort to
know where he's coming from.
Yeah, the heart. So it's always about me. This is me. Why can't you? It shall be well. I'll be back with a bit of me. It is said that even the teeth and the tongue fight. Twins fight, disagree, and they have their own differences. Life is complex, and human beings are complex. The complexities of life, the complexities of the humanity, the complexities of marriage. Just imagine two of you raised differently. You come in with your own attributes, attitudes, characters, beliefs, having to live together to form a union. Not easy. Marriage is not for the faint-hearted. It's tough. But you know, if we take the time to understand each other, if we take the time to know the things we can change within, and we can compromise to make the life of that partner more comfortable, marriages will work magically. Of course, I'm not talking about the lazy ones. No. There's some people who are just adamant, this is how I am. This is no. And I'm not talking about enduring and tolerating abuse. No. But the little things. I'm sure you've heard me talk about it. I am seriously OCD. Oh, there are things that I wanted my way to start, apart from the fact that I'm very independent-minded and I was raised to be very independent, and I lived on my own and did things on my own long before I got married. And my husband has dyslexia. How do we cope? You don't even want to know. But we learn. Well, at least I am learning. Hopefully he is learning to know our differences. See how we can work around it. See what can work and what can't work. Everything is possible. Everything is achievable. There's nothing that is impossible if we are determined to work with it. People adapt. People compromise. Only to make the sacrifice who end up being the old ones. A difference that is causing major problem in your relationship. Have a conversation, read about it, and maybe, just maybe, things will get better for the two of you. I remain a woman with super crazy faith in God. I know with God all things are possible. I know there's nothing too difficult for God, but I know God has given us wisdom. Let's apply the wisdom in everything that we do. And God will do his best and take over. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now.